Moonlight pooled like liquid silver on the dusty floorboards of Clara's antique shop. Whispers of time at 82. The silence felt deeper at night, filled only with the creaks of old wood settling. Clara moved slowly, her fingers tracing the familiar curves of a porcelain shepherdess. A silent companion for decades, she felt the weight of years, not just in her bones, but in the quiet corners of her heart where cherished memories had faded like old photographs, leaving behind only vague impressions of warmth and color. Tonight, a particular loneliness clung to her, sharper than the chill seeping through the old window panes. She sighed, turning towards the back room where the latest acquisitions awaited sorting. Unaware that one object held a profound magic about to stir, resting against a faded tapestry, partially unwrapped from its protective burlap, stood a large, ornate mirror. Its frame was heavy, dark wood intricately carved with twisting vines and strange, sleeping creatures. Clara couldn't quite identify. The glass itself wasn't perfectly clear. It held a subtle, smoky depth, like looking into still, deep water drawn by an inexplicable pull. Clara carefully wiped the grime from its surface with her sleeve as her reflection swam into view. Silver hair, kind eyes etched with lines of time. The glass seemed to ripple then, astonishingly. Her reflection shimmered and dissolved in its place, vivid as life. Bloomed the sun-drenched garden of her childhood home. She saw herself, impossibly young, maybe 7 years old, laughing with abandon as she chased brilliant yellow butterflies, the scent of honeysuckle almost tangible in the dusty shop air. A gasp escaped Clara's lips, her hand flying to her chest where a long-forgotten joy suddenly fluttered. Night after night, Clara returned to the mirror. Drawn by the promise of rediscovery, she witnessed scenes buried so deep she hadn't realized they were lost. Her 17-year-old self, heart-pounding, sharing a first, clumsy kiss under a star-strewn sky at the county fair, the scent of popcorn and diesel fuel mixing in the cool night air. She saw herself years later, radiant and exhausted, holding her newborn daughter, Sarah, for the very first time. Feeling a love so fierce and overwhelming it momentarily erased the world beyond the hospital room's soft light. Each vision wasn't just seen, it was felt. The scratchy wool of her first school uniform, the dizzying thrill of riding a bicycle downhill with no hands, the comforting warmth of her father's hand on her shoulder during a thunderstorm. The mirror wasn't showing history, it was resurrecting the very essence of those moments, the pure, unadulterated emotions. One particularly still evening, Clara sat on her worn velvet stool, facing the mirror with a quiet reverence. The surface rippled gently, settling not on a scene of youthful exuberance, but on a familiar, cozy living room bathed in golden lamplight. There she was, perhaps in her mid-40s, Sarah, now a teenager, curled beside her on the sofa. They were laughing uproariously at some shared joke, tears streaming down their faces. A half-finished knitting project tangled forgotten on Clara's lap, seeing the easy affection, the unguarded happiness in her daughter's young face, and the echo of her own deep contentment in that simple moment, filled Clara with a profound sense of peace. She hadn't forgotten Sarah's love, but the mirror reminded her of its effortless, joyful core, a feeling sometimes obscured by the complexities of adult life and passing years. The most poignant vision arrived unexpectedly on a rainy Thursday. The mirror's surface darkened, then cleared to reveal a windswept coastal path. Walking hand in hand were Clara and her beloved Robert. Years before illness had claimed him, they were perhaps in their late 50s, hair touched by gray, but their steps were light. Robert pointed towards the churning sea, saying something that made Clara throw her head back in laughter. The sound silent, but vivid in her memory. She saw the way he looked at her, not just with love, but with unwavering admiration and a shared, quiet understanding that needed no words. Tears, warm and unchecked, traced paths down Clara's wrinkled cheeks as she watched their easy companionship, feeling the ghost of his hand in hers, the salt tang of the sea air, and the profound comfort of being utterly known and cherished. It was a bittersweet balm for the enduring ache of his absence. Word, inevitably, began to spread about the peculiar mirror in whispers of time, not through Clara's boasting, but through the transformed look on her face. A newfound lightness. Tentative visitors arrived. Drawn by hushed rumors, a weary young mother, feeling lost, saw herself confidently rocking her first baby, reminding her of her innate strength. The gruff old man, hardened by life, broke down weeping upon seeing his long-deceased brother's mischievous grin reflected back at him from their childhood treehouse. Clara didn't explain. She simply guided them to the mirror, witnessing the wonder, the tears, the dawning recognition on their faces as they reconnected with fragments of their own buried joy, sorrow, and love. The shop became a sanctuary for reclaimed pieces of the soul. Clara knew the Mirror's magic wasn't meant to be hoarded. Its power lay in reawakening hearts to the beauty they had lived, and perhaps forgotten years flowed like the scenes within the glass. One tranquil evening, after a young couple had left, visibly moved by a vision of their own recent, joyful wedding day, Clara stood before the mirror. Her own reflection looked back, serene and tired. Full of the memories the glass had faithfully returned as she gently traced the carved frame one last time. The smoky depths seemed to still, becoming an ordinary, albeit beautiful, antique once more. Its work, for her, was complete. A profound gratitude filled Clara. The forgotten dreams weren't truly lost. They were woven into the tapestry of her being, remembered now, carried warmly within her as she turned off the shop light, stepping into the quiet night, forever enriched by the silent gift of the mirror that showed what the heart had tucked away. The memories, now vivid once more, would be her companions in the gentle twilight of her years.